Ah, there we are, we're live. We'll let a few people get in. If anybody's got a connect for Reagan out in Denver, I forgot to let her know. You might want to send her a text or something, let her know she's going to like this one. So we've heard a lot of talk about money lately. There was a work group meeting this evening at about 4 o'clock downtown at the county building. And they talked a lot about the money that it takes to address homelessness and the problems. Hey, John Eagle, how you doing? Good to see you back up, man. Heard you weren't feeling well for a little while. Or either that or your computer wasn't feeling well. Which one was it? Keeping the swine in line, that's what I'm talking about. So y'all, I'm outside the Borders building here in Lawrence. Now you're gonna ask, why am I outside the Borders building, an old bookstore, talking about housing issues? Well, see, this is why they depend on an uninformed populace. Because if you were out there at the commission meetings over the last few months, you might already understand why I'm out here. There's a local company, and I'm sure that the person who owns it's probably not going to be too happy with me when I get done here in a few minutes. There's a local company called First Management, First Properties, First whatever the hell you want to call them. They got First everywhere, First Construction, First this. This guy is loaded. I don't need to name him by name because everybody around here knows exactly who I'm talking about. But this is the Borders building that he wants to create as his corporate office. And he wants to make this the headquarters for all his First companies. And anybody that really wants to know who this is, you can go online and look. It's First Management, First Construction. Just look for a little bolt cut into an F and a C. You'll pick it up. But yeah, the way he wants to finance this and turn this into his corporate office, guys, you're gonna love this. He wants tax increment financing. Now, I don't know all the details and the ins and outs of tax increment financing and how it all works, but I do know this: it's paid for by our tax dollars. Yeah, and so I'm in conversations today, and I'm talking to a couple people who are in the know about homeless issues and housing issues, and they're telling me they're teaching me a few things. And here in Kansas, it's illegal for a municipality to command that a builder or a housing supplier has X amount of units for low income or things like this. There's a lot of other states that do have these laws, but Kansas does not. So we have no way to leverage the people that run large apartment complexes and have rental companies and real estate agents and things like that. We have no way to leverage them to make them help in all scales of housing. One of the comments that was made this evening was that they haven't seen any builders in Lawrence building any houses that cost less than $200,000. And that's probably not too far off from the truth. It's been a while since I worked in any kind of construction trades, but I can't see how with inflation they're building houses that are really much less than that. But this Borders, the owner of First Management and First all that, wants to have his tax increment financing. Well, we may not be able to legally say you have to provide these units, but I'm pretty sure that our city commission could say, you want tax increment financing, buddy? We're gonna need a few units. We're gonna need a few of those units priced at a level that people can afford. I'm hearing a lot of numbers about vouchers in the $600 and $800 range. Why can't we find some housing in the $600 and $800 a month range? Is it really that difficult? Is it really that difficult? But you want your financing there, buddy. Why don't you help us with some housing issues? Millions of dollars. Now I'm gonna touch on this real quick. This county meeting tonight, they go in there with these numbers to scare people, and it's people that favor the business community. I'm gonna call out Karen Willie specifically because she said some things this evening. She tried to turn numbers that were just fake into real. She talked about, oh, this is a real number that we can look at. And what they've done is they had taken from the hospital and emergency services a total of the 222 people that called 911 the most. So what they're doing is they're taking all the people that are constantly calling the ambulance or constantly going through emergency services like that, and they're compiling them into a list. 222 people, and they averaged those calls out, and they came up with a number of like $6.9 million that this costs. Guys, this was at a homeless and housing work group meeting. And the only reason that you would throw something like that in there is to skew it, because those numbers had nothing to do with the houseless and the homeless and the people living on the streets. Those were the 222 people that called 911 the most. You probably don't even know how many of them are actually homeless. But here's the problem: the Kansas Open Records Act. You guys screwed up, because now you've pulled medical records and details from the medical field, and you've presented it in an open public meeting. So Sarah Plinsky, right after that meeting was wrapping up, she got a CORA request so that we could get all the records that they used to compile that $6.9 million figure. So who decided to throw that in there? Was it the same person that wants to give this guy his tax increment financing? I think the same person that wants to give, one of the same people that wants to give this guy his tax increment financing, wants the DA and the attorneys to look at running an ordinance to criminalize homelessness and criminalize vagrancy. Well, let's talk about that one for a minute. You guys want to criminalize, and you want vagrants off the street, and you want to satisfy the business community. Well, we've got to find a way to find a middle ground. And I think you could probably get your ordinance if you guys got your act together and actually did something productive for the community in this area. You've heard a lot of talk about a one-stop shop. And I've heard a lot of different people talking about different aspects of a way to create one. I had some communications about schools here in town. We've had a few schools get closed. Ideally, Pinckney would be the location. I know the Pinckney neighborhood, they've shouted out about Pallet, but what I'm talking about is a little different concept that I think you guys could actually get on board with, because these schools have all the resources inside to handle everything. They've got showers, cooking facilities, the whole 9 yards. How much money are our service providers spending going from camp to location to location to meet with people? There's a fellow that drives an orange Subaru. I know everybody knows who he is, and he's a great dude. But that guy probably puts some serious miles on his car every day. He's always on the go. What if he could go to work in one spot and help, 4 people an hour, 3 people an hour, 20 minutes each, a day? I mean, it's going to be more effective than helping a guy for 15 minutes and then driving for 30 to get to the next one. Let's talk about the Salvation Army van. I mean, right now they're going out to the North Lawrence camp, and you guys are going to love this. The city is so asinine about the way they're doing this, is that they've decided they want to trespass everybody out and keep anybody that's not on their little registered list out of that camp that's on public property. So they've created separate entrances, and they actually co-opted Salvation Army to make them go over to the south side of the camp, away from everybody else. And so what I've done is I've filmed people not authorized just walking right through the sanctioned camp to go get their food, because what the hell else do you expect them to do? You're gonna have them walk a block around just because you're being assholes? So we got the Salvation Army truck, we talked to them and got them to actually agree to come over to the other side of the camp. But why are you guys making service providers and advocates have to go through all that? You talk about needing community buy-in? You've lost your community buy-in. You trespassed the people that were out there helping. You trespassed me. You trespassed Nancy, who takes food out there. You trespassed Shelley Berkeley. You trespassed our reporter, Chancey Long, who was doing quite a few stories about the homeless and who could have helped you build a little bit of consensus for some of the crap you're trying to do right now. All you've done is alienate people. And at the point that you guys want to go into a city meeting, and there's another one coming up. They did this county meeting tonight. And they're going to have this one. This one was tonight at 4, and I think it's on July 11th. They're going to come into the city hall and do the same thing. And the city is really the issue. I think the county could probably handle it if the county got their act together and took it over. But the reality is we have too many people that have too many conflicts of interest, too much money flying around in too many different directions and none of it having any effect. Tax increment financing, First Management. Let's make them our first target for housing. I wonder how many, can we get 10 units out of you guys? First Management. I'm gonna harp on you guys. I'm gonna berate everything that you're trying to do with this borders thing and everything I see in the news about it. I want 10 units. I want you to contact Douglas County Housing Authority or Burt Nash or whoever you need to contact, and I want you to commit 10 affordable housing units to this city. And let's get it done within the next week. And somebody give me a call and let me know that it's happened. Otherwise, maybe next Wednesday night I come out here and we do this again. What do you say? I mean, really, if this is the only kind of leverage that we as citizens can have is to get on the internet and start embarrassing you rich assholes, we'll do it. How about 10 units? I didn't call you out by name, sir. I could have said your name and I could have had them searching everything about you and your wife and your family and all the BS that's gone on in the past. I could have done that. 10 housing units, sir. Commit 10 of them to the Douglas County Housing Authority. How many thousands of housing units in this town do you have? Let's start with you. If you can get it done, then maybe we'll have you talk to the next developer and tell him how easy it is to just get along with the public. Really. So I know I've been long-winded, been a lot going on. Anybody got any questions? We'll watch some text down there for a little bit. The mayor in Lawrence is a joke. Well, the actual mayor in Lawrence hasn't showed up for the last couple meetings. And we think it's more than likely because of this part of the homeless meeting, or the homeless situation, because she's the one that went to the attorneys and tried to get them to do something. And Mike, you're right. You think First Management won't do it? How embarrassed do we need to get him, Mike? You've been around here for a while. How embarrassed will he need to be to just give us 10 units? 10 units, man. Please post who this person is and how we can get in touch with him. Patricia D. Kelly, I'm gonna give the man a week. If he can call the Douglas County Housing Authority and come out and say, I'm gonna give you 10 units, I'm gonna commit 10 units, because here's the deal, man. These 10 units, it's not like he's just gonna give them to the city of Lawrence and not making any money. All we're asking him to do is commit 10 of the multitude of units that he has to an affordable housing program. And like, I'm not that delusional either. But I did tell somebody that I'm very disillusioned with local law enforcement, and that's true. Hey, Clinton, I appreciate you telling Reagan. I'm sure she'll catch it on the backside if she didn't see this. But I talked to her quite a bit about different things that we could do, and really, we don't have the leverage to make it happen. And that's what got me out here tonight, Clint, is that I'm learning that this is really the only leverage that the public has, is to come stand outside a multi-million-dollar building that a developer wants money for from the city, a developer that won't help us with housing. Can we get 10 units? He could log in and chime in right now and give us 10 units. Cops in your city can violate your rights, but isn't it against departments? Oh yeah, we don't worry about department policy, guys. We don't worry about department policy. Those policies, they're really fluctuable. I mean, fluctuable, is that a real word? Fluctuating? I mean, it really depends on who you are. I've heard some interesting stories about trespassing getting let go here lately. It's funny how hardcore they come down on trespassing on public property. and they've let some serious stuff go around town from what I'm hearing from different people. 10 units, 10 more units. And sir, if you've already got a few in the mix, call me and let me know how many you've got in the mix that are a part of the affordable housing plan here in Lawrence. I didn't even go look at it. I didn't even go look up to see, because all I remember is you coming in, your company submitting that to the city commission, wanting tax increment financing, wanting our money to build your corporate headquarters. You got a nice location already. How much money do you need, dude? But if you've got units that are already in the affordable housing plan, give me a call and let me know, and I'll share it with everybody. But if you don't, I want 10. I want 10 units. Can you sell him on the charitable deductions these units will bring to him? It will benefit his bottom line. You know, I honestly don't know if that's possible. Sir, can you look into that? The difference between what you would normally charge and what you would get from a voucher, can you deduct that on your taxes? I mean, there's a good way to make it financially feasible for you, if that's what it is. They make the rules to fit the situation. They adjust the rules to fix the situation, literally. They adjust the rules. And see, this is the other thing around here. Lawrence police, they're really loosey-goosey with their policies because that leaves them with a lot of that officer discretion, man. That officer discretion makes everything okay. That's why we're loose with the rules. Patricia, you got some good questions. You sound like a local person. If you're not, you should be, because you got the right questions. From Illinois, God bless, keep fighting. Well, you know, I'm not the guy that's always got all the sympathy for everybody, and I know that there's situations where people need to step up and do some things for themselves, but we've got a lot of money flowing around this town. And if some people can't start dedicating some of it to housing, then why are they millionaires out living on the west side and ignoring everybody and then wanting our tax money to build their corporate headquarters? How's it going, guys? We're live on Zoom tonight at Lawrence Accountability talking about homeless issues. The LPD don't like the game, change the rules. That would be nice. It would be real easy to change the rules if we had control of that. The citizens, the only control we have is to go into the city commission and vote at the ballot box, go into city commission and raise hell. But even when you go into city commission and you speak during public comment, it doesn't always mean that you're going to be heard or that your ideas are going to matter. With affordable housing, the state is still paying the difference, so you wouldn't lose anything. That's a good point my father's keeper makes, that the affordable housing plans do have ways to make it whole with the developers and the people that own the housing. Rich Lockhart. You know, Mike, when he got appointed to C-Post, that one just kind of blew my mind. You know, he's only been over here for a year and a half, and they've appointed him to the commission that really sets the rules for the whole state. And that was pretty interesting, the way that happened so quickly, and especially with everything that's gone on in the last year or so. What I'm saying is when LPD doesn't like the game. Oh yeah, definitely. When they don't like it, they change the rules. And it's kind of like they have the policies, but the policies are just a guideline, right? Patricia, we're going to work on them shutting us down. I think we've got some people around town recognizing that they're really being idiots for not just letting people get their 3 minutes out of their mouth and leave. Always, Jeremiah. Give them hell. That's what I do, man. That's what I do. No fear. No fear. It's funny. Yeah, I'm not even going to go there yet. I'm not even sure what to think of that. I had an interesting interaction this evening that we may be discussing soon. All right, guys, I'm going to get off here and let this thing finish up. But really, First Management, 10 units. 10 units of affordable housing in Lawrence, Kansas. That's all we're asking. I'm going to give you a week to call the housing authority and give a commitment to that. And then, you know, I guess I'll do what I do. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you for watching.